Hey everyone, it's Cody and Sam with the Final Central, and this is episode 2 of Around the Arena. This week we have a ton of things to talk about and our first ever interview with none other than Shawk. We do not want to delay any longer, so let's jump right into that interview.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are very excited to bring you our first guest on Around the Arena. With over 400,000 YouTube subscribers and over 111,000 followers on Twitch, everyone please give a warm welcome to Shawk.
Yeah, so it's so nice to have you on, man. It's honestly so sick that you even responded to my messages. I really appreciate it. It's so great to have you on. Just to give you a little bit of an intro of who I am and who Sam is. I'm just random 22-year-old that loves gaming and tried to take it competitively and never got that far because my teammates suck. Sam, you want to go ahead and give you a little bit of an intro?
Yeah, I definitely feel you on the teammates part of that. Yeah, so my name is Sam. I'm based in the Washington, D.C. area. I'm 28 years old, and I'm actually a software engineer by day. Same as Cody, come from a background where I spent a lot of time trying to become a competitive gamer and would climb the ranks, but just school and life and things like that got in the way and just never made it to the pro scene or anything like that. But I've been obsessed with esports our entire time. So, yeah, and we'd love for you to give an introduction about yourself.
Awesome. Yeah, so my name is Shawk, or Steven for people who don't know. And I kind of got started in this with Rainbow Six Siege. And obviously, as you guys know, I transitioned over to the finals when it officially came out of beta and released. And yeah, now I'm kind of just doing my thing.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Well, we just so some context actually, so we started playing the finals back in the end of season 5. I actually was a closed beta tester and open beta tester as well, and then season 1 came around and we kind of dropped it because the meta kind of wasn't there for us and we were tied up playing who knows what at that time. But as we came back into season 5, we had a friend of ours who was like top 100 in season 4 for World Tour, and he actually gave us your name and said you should check out this guy's channel to get up to speed on how the game plays now. And we've been watching you now for a little while, and your content's awesome. It's helped us get pretty far, I think, in our competitive gameplay. We peaked plat last season after maybe playing 3 or 4 weeks. So just a shout out to you in general. I want to thank you for the content you're putting out. And yeah.
Nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's really cool.
Yeah, no problem. So first thing I guess we'll cover is, are you currently a full-time content creator, or do you have any kind of side hustles on the side? And if so, how are you kind of juggling your time along with your content creation?
Yeah, it's a great question. So obviously, for those who've been following me for a few years now, like you can look at my channel and see I'm not getting the viewership that I used to get. So a lot of people will ask me, are you still able to do this full time? And the answer is actually yes. I am still doing this full time. I don't have like a traditional job. I'm not really doing anything else. The way that I'm able to continue doing it is 2 things really. Number one, when I came off of playing Siege, I was really good about investing all my money. So I didn't blow it all. I didn't buy a bunch of crazy stuff, crazy expensive things. So I kind of just invested everything, and that's been paying off very well for me. And I also, with 2 of my friends, I run a few YouTube channels that are doing pretty good as well. So that's kind of how I'm able to continue doing this full time.
That's actually super sick to hear, because just being able to continue like your career in content creation, even though maybe some things have ended, is probably really inspiring to hear to other people, because I think a lot of people have the idea that, after something ends, especially in the like internet world, that it's just kind of done and over. But being able to continue that is super sick to hear.
Yeah, the finals, I love the finals. It's a great game. Obviously, it's not quite as big as Siege is, so it's difficult to pull some of the same viewership. But I'm fortunate enough to be able to kind of put myself in a position where I can do what I want to do, and that's kind of the reason I have been playing the finals.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And I think, being able to do what you want to do goes a long way in life. And there's a lot of people spending their hours, 8, 9 hours a day working a job that they don't love, and they're just trying to pay the bills and things like that. So, kudos to you, not only on getting as far as you have, but also finding ways to like navigate the market and just be able to continue to provide success for yourself. So yeah, like Cody said, that's really commendable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that leads us on to our next question, which was, how did you get here? What was your journey to become a pro gamer? And did you intend to go pro, or did it kind of just fall in your lap?
Well, I would say I wouldn't want to call myself a pro. I never played professionally. I've never been in pro league. I've never played at that level before. In Siege, I did play for the #1 underage team. We were pretty good. We were scrimming against pro teams and beating them, playing very well. But obviously, I was underage. You have to be 18 to play in pro league and Siege. So I was never able to take it to that point. And by the time I turned 18, my channel had kind of taken off. So I went the route of content creation instead of competitive. A lot of people have told me I should play competitively, but I really enjoy the content creation aspect of all of this more so than the competitive aspect. But the way that I got into it, honestly, it all starts with Siege. I saw the E3 live action trailer back in like 2015, and I absolutely love that trailer, and I was dying to play the game. So picked it up on Xbox, was playing on Xbox for a few years until about, I want to say, year 2 of Siege. And at that point, my parents had bought me a gaming laptop for Christmas. I think this was 2017. So in 2017, December, I got a gaming laptop, switched over to PC. And at that point, my friend Vexian, he was like, you really need to start streaming more. You should start uploading content. And I also wanted a place I really enjoyed watching my clips back, which I don't know, it might sound kind of weird, but I liked watching my own gameplay. So I would start uploading my Shadowplay clips in their entirety, like from the Shadowplay software, just straight to YouTube, full 4-minute clips, no editing. And, it kind of evolved from there.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's cool to know that like a friend of yours, which I've watched some of your recent content as well. I know you still play with Exian as well and stuff. It's cool that he, I guess, helped mentor you into the content creation space, and you guys are kind of doing that a lot together. Still seems like, right?
Yeah, 100%. We actually, Vex and I just got back from a vacation together in Japan, which was a really cool thing to do. We went from playing on Xbox together. The way we met, actually, we were playing ranked, and I played against him on a clubhouse game. I still remember the map, and I just randomly invited him, and from there, I guess we sort of connected. So we've known each other for almost a decade now. So it's been cool to go from randomly meeting each other in a ranked game to going to Japan and doing all these things together.
Who does that sound a lot like, huh?
That's awful similar in a way. Yeah. A brief history on us, and we started off our first episode of this podcast talking about it just briefly, so I won't go fully into it, but Cody and I met in a Call of Duty lobby. I was queued with one of my duos that I used to play a lot of game battles with, and he's queued with one of our good friends, and we got onto the same team, and me and my friend were like a lot more competitive in nature. We were like in it to win, hard calming, all that, trying way too hard in a ranked lobby. But he and our friend Gio were quite literally just yapping the whole time and kind of trolling. And we still ended up stomping the team. And long story short, we queued up together. This is around COVID time. And we ran GBs and boot camped and all this stuff. And it turned into actually we met up in San Diego in person. And now we're trying to figure out a trip to get him out here for hopefully a music festival that's going on, and planning hopefully a boys trip somewhere one day. So it's really funny, and we touched on how like internet friends really can be a lifetime thing. My girlfriend, she's like, you spend a lot of time talking to people online versus like in person probably, and I'm like, well, I mean, those are good friends. I'd fly across the nation definitely to see them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So that gets us a little bit, you kind of covered it already, but maybe just if you want to add a little bit, what led you to switch from Rainbow Six to the finals? I know you said you enjoyed the game, but was there any like major thing that kind of really brought you into, I'm going to do this full time?
Yeah, 100%. There's actually a lot to go into with that. So, obviously, like I said, I've been playing Siege since the start, since release. Before there was seasons, before there was, year one, year two, anything like that, playing from the very beginning. And I absolutely love that game. But it was getting to a point where it felt like a chore to play. And that was because every single game I would play, there would be blatant cheaters, and trying to get content and be in a good mood, be in that content creator mood, and have that high energy was just really difficult when every game was cheaters. So that was the main thing that really drove me away, and especially once I started playing the finals, I just absolutely loved the game. The aim mechanics and the movement, it just felt so smooth. It felt so good. And for me, Siege has been one of the only FPS games, really aside from the finals, that I felt super comfortable in, where I felt like I really understand the movement. I really understand the aiming mechanics. So when the finals came out, I absolutely just fell in love with it. And I started uploading some videos to my channel alongside my Siege videos. And they were actually doing significantly better than my Siege content. So I kind of thought to myself, I'm playing the finals more than I'm playing Siege every single day. The finals videos are doing better than my Siege videos at this point. And, I really just don't enjoy playing R6. So that was the main thing for me is the cheaters really drove me away.
Gotcha. Yeah, I definitely can understand how that would ruin the vibe and the determination behind it. Obviously, and not to like harp on Rainbow because obviously this is a finals podcast, but I do have a question about I think they just announced like CJX or something like that. We're not super versed in R6 in all fairness, but do you think you're gonna give that a try at all? I don't even know if it's out yet, but do you think you'll check that out much, or you're gonna stick with the finals primarily?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think you guys want to get into this a little bit later, so I won't go into this too much. We'll save that for later. But with CJX coming out, I definitely plan to come back to the game a little bit, and that doesn't mean that I'm gonna abandon the finals. I still like the finals. I enjoy playing it, but with CJX coming out, I have my whole audience, in my comments, yo, you need to come back to Siege. Are you gonna play Siege again? Have you seen Siege X? All of my friends are, asking me to come back and play. So I've been for the past like week or two, I've been playing a little bit more of Siege, trying to get reacclimated to it. So I think when Siege X comes out, I'm definitely gonna go hard on the content there and see how it does.
Nice. Yeah. And I guess that we can go ahead and hit on the next topic as well. Are you considered a pro player right now in the finals, and are you hoping to compete in the season 8 major?
Yeah, I wouldn't consider myself a pro player. There's definitely much better players out there than me. I really don't think I play the game enough to be at that level. I think I'm good, but I don't have that dedication that these other players have. So I wouldn't want to take from them. I wouldn't want to put myself on the same level as these guys who are playing, 8 to 10 hours a day, if not more, when I only play, maybe that much in a week, really, is how much I've been playing. So, yeah, I wouldn't consider myself a pro player. Would I want to play in the season 8 major? I was thinking about it. I had a few friends from the finals that were interested in teaming up with me, but ultimately I don't think that's something I'm going to be doing. I joined the finals team actually for a little while, and I was scrimming against some of the top teams in both NA and EU, and it was pretty fun, but it just wasn't something that I could get into that well.
Gotcha. Yeah. Um, Cody, do you have anything else you want to add real quick before we jump on to the next one?
No, I think we're good to go to the next one.
Okay. Actually, I do have a quick question. Do you think you'll maybe want to at least attend the season 8 major?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would love to do that.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's kind of one of our goals is to hopefully do something at that major. I don't think we're at the level to play at it by any means. We're more on the casual side, I feel like, at this point. But it would be really cool to go out there and do some sort of co-stream or something like that. We'd love to, have guests like yourself on if we can make that happen.
Name
So
drop, bro. It's okay. Name drop. Where you got the idea from, dude?
no, it's okay.
Okay, I'll do it. Scump did a watch party for COD finals, and it was sick.
It was sick. Yeah. So
yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, we would love to do something like that. And as kind of a centralized platform for the finals, our goal is to hopefully bring in new and returning players back to the platform. We'll cover esports and some pro play and things like that, but our goal is definitely catering to its more casual people to help, grow the player base. So that's the idea, is doing something like that, hopefully, and we'll see if we can make that happen. But that's the goal.
Yeah.
Cool. So in your videos, you seem to play a lot of medium, at least as of recent. In season 6, what would you say is the best weapon for most players?
Oh, that's a good question. So I would say, since you said for most players, I honestly want to lean towards the FAMAS. I think the FAMAS is so good, especially, I don't know if this is true, but I've been trying the red dot on it, the really clean red dot, and it feels like there's less recoil with that scope on. Maybe there isn't. I think it has something to do with the ACOG that's on the FAMAS is a little more zoom. So I think you can feel the recoil a little bit more when you have that ACOG on. But with the red dot, it feels so accurate, and it just does so much damage. But I would say, personally, one of the weapons I've really been enjoying in season 6 is the repeater. That thing absolutely destroys people. It's, if you can accurately hit your headshots, that you really can't beat that weapon.
Nice. Yeah, we've been trying to cover a lot of weapons, especially I just put out a video earlier today on our channel about the top 4, I guess, ARs that were mentioned in the comments from the FCAR update video. And we received a lot of complaints about the repeater, and even what was interesting is Embark saying that the repeater along with the minigun is currently like middle of the pack, and they're not going to touch it right now. They're like waiting for more data to come in, which is, I found pretty interesting. But yeah,
that is interesting. I think the repeater is one of those weapons where it really takes a lot of skill to use. You really have to nail those headshots. When it comes to the lights, not so much. You can kind of just 2-tap the lights anywhere, which feels really crazy. But two headshotting mediums is, I mean, there's just no other gun that can do it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So that kind of brings us into another question that's finals related. Do you have like any ideas that you would want to see implemented in the finals? Whether it's like a gadget, specializations, maybe some reworks?
Yes, absolutely. My number one most requested gadget is actually some sort of stim, like from Call of Duty, where maybe it increases your movement speed. Even if it doesn't increase movement speed, the biggest thing for me would be it automatically starts regenerating your health. Because one of my biggest problems in the finals is just the really, really slow health regen timer. And obviously, I play really aggressively. So when you're trying to take on multiple different players or multiple teams at once, sometimes it can be a little frustrating when you have to back off for 10 seconds and completely refill your HP. So I think if they had some sort of stim, that would be really, really fun.
I feel like that is a pretty controversial statement, just knowing like the finals fan base. But I think that would be interesting. The only question is, what class would you give it to?
Medium.
Medium?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
You're gonna cause some fighting in the comments, dude.
Oh, I know. I've got some controversial takes on the finals. I won't lie.
I have to get you back on if this is how it's gonna go.
Cody, you want to share our rework idea?
Yeah, so we have, and I think this is like the best rework idea. No offense to you, but so the defib, right? And when you hit somebody, you know how it has like that sort of like re-image animation. So give them a health bar, and you can shoot it and cancel it out.
That's actually really interesting. Yeah, I kind of like that idea.
It's because the one thing that I think makes defib so annoying is you work so hard to get that kill. Maybe you're chasing, until your legs fall off, and they go in and get the res. They get the invincibility, and then they also get like just the free up time. and it's so frustrating. So yeah, having like a counter would be sick, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, certainly worth trying at least.
Definitely. All right. So next question is, do you think the finals has the possibility of being the next big esport? What changes do you think it needs to make it to that status?
Yeah, that's a good question. I definitely think the finals has what it takes to be one of the next big esports. I mean, the game lore is essentially a big esports tournament, right? So it definitely has that potential. I mean, with the commentators in the background while you're playing and the crowd going off, and there's so much happening. It's just so entertaining to watch. I do think they need to work on some of the balancing, though. I don't know if in its current state everything is balanced enough to where it could be at a top level esports spot. But obviously, they're working on that, and they're making good progress towards it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Go ahead, Sam.
Oh, I was gonna say same thing. Totally agree.
Yeah.
We covered briefly a article from Esports talking about I think they sat down with the developers, kind of went over what they had in mind for esports integration and things like that, and it sounds like the developers really want to tie in esports with that existing lore, like you mentioned, with the commentators, the announcements, the crowd, all of that. They want to somehow bridge that gap to where I guess things that happen on IRL tournaments will carry over into the game. Maybe they have scoreboards or things like that pop up in game even. So we're excited for it. We think it would be sick. So
Yeah, there's so much they can do with it. I mean, it's such a unique idea. I've never seen another game that the whole game is a big game show. I think it's just such a great idea.
100%.
So I think that's pretty much all the questions we have, but we do have one more. Obviously, I just want to thank you again for your time. Coming out, answering all these questions is super sick. I'm sure there's a lot of things that people wanted to hear from you. But one particular question, which we're going to finish it off with, is obviously plug some of your stuff. Do you have any cool projects going on? Some things you want to tell people?
Honestly, no. I don't have too much to plug. I mean, just make sure you guys are subscribed to the YouTube channel. I know for my long-term subscribers, they'll be excited to know that I plan on uploading some more Siege content. So for those interested in that, you can expect some more Siege content coming out in the next few weeks. And I might be putting my finals content onto my second channel, which is Shawk FPS. So subscribe there if you'd like to. That's honestly it.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll get all your links as well and make sure we put them in the description of this podcast so everybody can go check you out and drop you a follow if they're not already. So
appreciate it.
Cool. All right, Shawk. Well, thank you so much again for your time and have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity to come on. Really appreciate it.
Of course, we'd love to have you back. So we'll catch you later.
Thanks.
Woo. That was a pretty spicy interview, no?
Yeah. Still can't believe we got the opportunity to even do that, honestly. He's a really cool guy, and he talked about a lot of topics that kind of, resonated with me. And like we said to him, it also resonated like with us, like him and Vexian really met in the same way that we kind of did. So, it's really cool to talk to him that way.
Yeah, no, I agree. I honestly was pretty surprised. Like, I mean, we're definitely growing, but the fact that I went into his Discord and was just like, yo, what up, man? You down to do an interview? And he was super sick. I mean, he immediately went into a DM with me and we talked, and he was just honestly a really, really cool guy. It's just, yeah, I think it's a little surprising that, we were able to land him just because, I don't know. I mean, I still think we're just like this tiny little random channel, and here we are, possibly getting even other guests that are around the same size, if not bigger. So that's pretty crazy. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. And I mean, you've really done some networking over, the past week as well that have set up a lot of things, hopefully for the next few weeks. I mean, here with Around the Arena. So a lot of exciting things coming.
Right. Yeah. It's just kind of crazy. But you know, yeah, you guys can hear more about that maybe sometime in the future. We'll see. But there was one really big thing that I think we wanted to talk about, which was the little controversy, not really, that we're slightly involved in about the quality of our videos.
Yeah, I could start on it. I mean, I think it's something that I want to touch on personally.
Right.
Obviously this week I put out kind of a follow-up video to my FCAR buff video. Um, that was geared not necessarily towards the main player base. I did start that video by saying it was geared towards like new and returning players. That was my approach, but it was ranking 4 weapons that had been mentioned within the FCAR video's comments. And those are the AKM, the FCAR, the FAMAS, and the Pike. I went kind of in depth on the data and the numbers, some of which are, you know, like come from custom testing, specifically the FAMAS. And there's a lot of controversy over whether like DPS was calculated correctly for that weapon in specific. I do feel like I said in that video that, you know, the numbers that I am giving out are what I could come up with, but they may not be totally accurate. And also for our videos, when we typically use numbers in our data, we are getting those a lot of times from like the finals wiki, which also had some incorrect data, including the RPM, especially on the FAMAS. So that's part of the problem. Along with that, there was also just a straight up like typo in the script that I wrote. If you guys are not familiar, I obviously write a script for the videos that I write, and that's to make sure that I'm not free forming these videos, and also to make sure that the data that I'm providing you is accurate. Of course, unfortunately, if I am rushing or things like that, things slip through the cracks, which is what happened this past week, where I mentioned that the FCAR is the highest DPS, but really it's the FAMAS. And I guess what I want to say is, first, I'm sorry that that was not totally accurate, and that's obviously not up to our standard when it comes to quality and accuracy of the videos that we're trying to provide. I did go through the idea that maybe I would take down the video and re-upload it fixed. However, for my own humility, I wanted to leave it up because I feel like through humility, I will learn my lesson in the sense that, you know, I'm going to be more careful with the things I upload, getting them double, triple checked, making sure the script is read through all the way, things like that. So again, apologies. Future videos as well. This may mean that things are delayed. Right now, we've been trying to keep a schedule of 3 videos per week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, with the pod coming out on Friday or one day over the weekend. This may lead to delays in those releases, but we're still going to try for now to keep the, you know, uploads to 3 times a week. There's a chance that in the future we may drop that down, just depending on how busy we are in life. This past week, and especially weekend, was extremely busy for me here in the DC area. So that's really why my video was maybe not up to par. But, you know, I don't want to make excuses. You know, I'm the sole reason why it got uploaded and was the way that it was. So
Yeah, I mean, I actually took like a completely different approach, and this might not be entirely interesting because it's not entirely, you know, the finals related, but I think it is interesting just because a lot of people don't really think about this part of content creation, which I know certainly we didn't. And it's just like the time management and like, I mean, I just started a new job. If you guys watch episode 1, I got it, and I just finished my first week. I do have one more day tomorrow, but it's pretty much chill. And yeah, and just like trying to get a video out was pretty, it wasn't like hard. Like there was definitely time for it, but I guess just having like the mental for it was a little hard. And I mean, I ended up making a really tiny mistake that was just like missing a single gun in like this one single sentence. And it's just something that I didn't even think to like check. But yeah, I mean, I think Sam really covered it just the best, but I just took the different approach of just taking it down and fixing it real quick. I don't know. To me, like, it just wasn't worth, like, responding to comments or, like, even just, like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's a lot.
yeah.
And, I mean, I think both approaches work, but.
Yeah, and one thing I want to also mention, I guess, is that I have now, now that the video has kind of ran its pace for the most part, I have gone and updated the title of my video to kind of reflect and say, you know, if you're a beginner, what weapon should you run? And I believe I updated the thumbnail instead of saying what's the meta. Now it says something like, what should you pick as a beginner, or something along those lines, to help clarify that this isn't for the competitive player, because spoiler alert on the video, the AKM I ranked as the highest for usability for beginners, but because of the data and things like that, it's pretty obvious that the FAMAS is probably the best weapon at the highest level of play. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to put that out there as well, in case people look at that video and see that it's a little bit different in the title and thumbnail. Now you know why.
Yeah, I think it's really. I think we should just get into some final stuff. I mean, we have some other stuff we want to talk about, but I mean, I'd like to get into a little bit of the final stuff. It is the point of the pod, per se. I know we wanted to touch up on a couple things. In particular was the World Tour updates that I think were just released. Was it today or yesterday?
It was today. So for reference, today is Thursday, April 3rd. So the update, I believe, went live today. The new World Tour mode is called Headhunter. I'll read the patch notes. I'll throw them up on the screen as well, so you guys can check them out if you're watching over video. But it says this. This week on the World Tour, the spotlight and the pressure land squarely on the top fraggers. Alpha Acta signs off their seasonal sponsorship with a new twist for Season 6 Headhunter. During the special game show event, the player on each team with the highest number of eliminations will have a bounty of $5,000 placed on their head. The better they play, the bigger the reward, and the bigger the target. Every elimination they score boosts their bounty by $2,000. Take them out, their bounty goes straight to your team. Let them live. They'll cash in that full amount when the event ends at the 2-minute mark. Stay sharp, move smart, and watch the scoreboard. This week, glory and greed go hand in hand. And the maps for this week are going to be Monaco, Seoul, Skyway Stadium, and Fortune Stadium. So I think it sounds like a really cool mode. Obviously, it came out today. We have not had a chance to play it, but we'll have some gameplay, going up over the next week. You'll see, with our upcoming videos, I'm sure some gameplay from that. But I'm pretty excited. It sounds really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, kind of changing up like the way the game works a little bit in World Tour is, I think, the glory of it. I think there's a lot of really cool opportunities that they can take to really influence the game and the way it plays, and I think this is a good step in that direction. I mean, there's so many cool things they could do, especially with like, we kind of already, I don't know if we actually did touch upon it, but the money differences is also kind of pushing. Someone made a good comment in one of the videos, which was like, do you guys think it'll affect the meta? And I will say I don't think it will, but it might be that push for some people to try new weapons or new things, which is always great.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy because between last pod, which was uploaded last Friday, and this pod, which is probably going up on Friday this week, so the 4th, we've actually had 2 different world tours that have happened. Last week's, I guess, it wasn't even a full week, I guess, was Risk and Reward, which, based on the equipment and weapons that you got eliminations with, you were earning more money per those eliminations. And so, like Cody said, I think it brought out a lot of opportunities to try out new weapons and things that you would not typically run. Like, I know I was running the CL40, which, for those of you in the comments that say that that's a great weapon, I killed myself with it more than I killed enemies. So I think you're tripping, but I think everybody can be good with something. So,
oh man,
yeah.
Speaking of tripping, I'm just throwing out, dude. All these people said that 93R needed to be in mid range, but I don't know if you've used it. Like, I'm not even trying to be like, that guy, but it's pretty hard to hit from long range, especially with how good the XP54 is. Like, you think that belongs in the same category? I'm just saying, but. To each your own, use whatever works for you, obviously, but just my experience was very different. I did want to get into, speaking of using new things, in my video, I went over everything under the sun in terms of gadgets and specializations for light, and flashbangs are kind of crazy because they're pretty much one of the only gadgets now, besides like, I can't remember if Glitch has 2 right now off the top of my head. I'll check. But Flashbang has 2 charges, and it comes back insanely fast, which is kind of insane. I did see some people in the comments like complaining about flashbangs lately, and like how apparently a ton of people are running them, especially with like how prominent sword players are. I feel like currently, they're probably a great addition to the loadout. So yeah, I mean, like the fact that they come back as fast as they do, you have 2 charges. I mean, you can literally just pop flash them like so easily in this game. They're pretty crazy. Yeah, for reference, Glitch Grenade also has 2, but I mean, Glitch Grenade doesn't, flashbang you.
Yeah. Flashbangs in this game are also like line of sight, right? Kind of like Valorant or Counter-Strike versus Call of Duty, where it's just
they
AoE.
are, but like how in those games, like it's very like you can see the slope like really well.
Yeah.
So this game is like if you're even slightly looking at it, I mean, in the corner of your screen, you're getting like half flashed, like pretty significantly.
Mm-hmm.
So I even had like some testing, which I didn't put in the video just because I wanted to keep it pretty like quick and concise. I would like sometimes turn away and it'd still apply a full flash. So I don't know if maybe there's some sort of glitch but go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, this game does have some interesting like net code and stuff. I mean, we've noticed over time as well, so maybe that has something to do with it.
It could be. I mean, yeah, there's definitely games sometimes where I feel like I'm using a different gun, so it's certainly possible. We also, I don't think, know the tick rate of the servers, which could be a big contributor. Going into that though, I kind of want to talk about the ranked play scoreboard update if you want to get into that one.
Yeah, I can kick us off. So this was a topic that we did have scheduled for last week's pod, but we ran out of time. But with season 6 coming out, there were some pretty decent changes to ranked, but the biggest of them being the change of the actual scoreboard when you're in a match. You now don't see people's tournament seedings, which is kind of one thing, but the biggest one was that you no longer see like the damage numbers, the healing stats, or support score and objective score, and also who is alive and eliminated on each team during that match. They did this to help prevent like the third party meta that was happening, and I think kind of slow down the plug meta to an extent, even though I think it kind of does the adverse thing because now you could sneak away and do a lot more plug meta and stuff. But we found it to be a pretty crazy change because if you weren't familiar, last season and in previous seasons, a lot of people would hold up the scoreboard and kind of wait to see, teams' damage numbers moving. And if 2 teams at least had damage numbers moving around the same time, you knew that those teams were the teams that were fighting, and it was easy to jump on top of them and start third partying. But now that's gone. And, we at first we found that as a really big change and something that maybe we didn't like. But as we've played more ranked specifically this week, I've actually come to not really notice it as much anymore. And I'm finding that it's keeping me maybe more locked into the match because I'm using my ears more to listen for combat, keeping track of where teams are, looking at the score, not the scoreboard, but the kill feed in the top right to see, who did I just eliminate from this team that I'm fighting? So I know, oh, they're down their medium or one of their mediums. I think it's just actually become really healthy for the game. That's my take. But I am curious to know yours and how you feel about it.
That's pretty surprising to hear because I feel like we were pretty strongly in the same boat. I mean, to be honest, I'm still a little butthurt. I'm not going to lie, just because I did like the strategy that came into play. I think it's kind of a weird spot because it's kind of you either have it in like all of it or you don't have any of it. Because I think if you just add one part of it, it's whatever. I'd rather just have you take it out at that point because it doesn't really change much. But I did like some of the strategy that came with having all of those. I can understand why it is a bit of an issue in terms of like flow of gameplay, just because it does promote a lot of what a lot of people consider to be, bad tactics, or like unfun/unfair tactics, and a little bit of like metagaming, I guess would be the term to use. So I can understand it, but part of me does kind of miss the strategies that came from a lot of that information.
Yeah, I can get where you're coming from. I feel like you can run a lot of the same strategy to an extent, but it's making you really think more about like, all right, you just wiped a team. Where are they going to spawn? Are they going to spawn on you, you think, and you need to be prepared for that? Or do you think it spawns them on the other side of the map, you know, fighting the other cash out, things like that? Um, the other thing that I do like, personally for me, and maybe it's just my own, like, not necessarily ego, but fear of ego, I guess, is not seeing the ranks of enemies that I'm fighting anymore. It's kind of nice to not have to like worry about, oh, there's a Ruby team in this lobby and we should just avoid them at all costs. Now it's like, okay, they've wiped us 3 times and we just need to avoid them now. And it just comes strictly from game sense rather than me pressing tab or pressing your select button on your controller and looking at the scoreboard. So
I would like maybe just like for a happy medium, possibly them adding, instead of like a exact rank, maybe just like an up or a down arrow on the teams. So you kind of know like if you are like, if you're, I guess like maybe the bot. I mean, I guess you could determine your seed with that. So that might be kind of redundant, but I don't know. I think there is some sort of information they could give you where it could be vague enough, but it'd still be kind of interesting because I don't know. It's just, it is ranked, like it's very, I think, taboo in a lot of video games to restrict that sort of information from you. I don't think it's a bad thing to try. I think it's unique, and that's one thing that the finals is good at doing. But I just don't know how to feel about it yet. I definitely need some more time, but it's just, it's very unique. Like no other game has really gone out of their way to make sort of that information hidden to you.
yeah, I agree. I think it was just playing such a heavy part in how ranked at the higher level. And I mean, we were seeing it a lot in Plat last season, which I don't know if you consider that the higher level per se, but I mean, we were playing against Diamond and top 500 players, so we were playing against some of the best, including Lamp, who currently is #1 this season and was, I think, 4th last season by the end of the season. So, I mean, we were up there, and you started to see it really come into play pretty much in every single match, and it started to make sense as to why, like, as soon as we would fight somebody, there was another team on us. So
I would maybe be interested in them locking that information to certain ranks. That might be cool. So if you're a super low rank and you match with a Ruby, you would know, but they wouldn't. So that might be a good idea to help kind of promote, like, say, less, skilled people to have a little bit more information. I mean, I don't think it'll give them that big of a buff, but I think it would be healthy for people that are kind of just a little bit out of their place. I would actually really like that, thinking about it now. I would love if you're in gold and under, you get that information, and then if you are above gold, you do not.
yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a terrible idea. It does exist still in World Tour. So if you guys are playing World Tour and have no idea what we're talking about and don't really play ranked, don't worry. This all still exists in World Tour anyways. So
so moving on to the, oh yeah, go ahead. You're good. Yeah, moving on to the next thing, we kind of wanted to talk about, which is pretty exciting. It's another thing that we're trying to do in terms of community and channel, is I have an idea and also am in the works of building a Discord for the channel. It's something that I really want to hammer down on, just because the only form of communication we have right now is through comments and posts. And with all due respect to YouTube, posts suck. They get almost zero push by anything. And the few people that do see it really don't interact with it because, dude, you're on YouTube, you're watching a video, and why would I want to look at a image of text? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going onto YouTube to scroll through it like Twitter to look at what people are saying or, whatever. So it's really just not a reliable way to talk to anybody and get anybody's opinions. And comments are cool, but just the way that YouTube delivers them to us, it's very limiting. It's hard to check replies after just the first one. It's hard to really see any sort of engagement after just the initial reply. So moving on to a Discord where we can actually have, like genuine conversations with everyone, and obviously you guys can have conversations with each other and other people, and just build like that sense of community that we're trying to build. We would love to hold some really cool events in the future. Some that I just have an idea that I can just throw off the top of my head would be, like tourneys would be super sick. I had some really cool ideas, like running a tourney that's only heavies and melee. And, just having everybody stream it and everybody just kind of sharing content and having a good time. Maybe getting some TOs in to help like actually make it a real tournament and get some casters on to stream it with us, and just really, really hammer down on like some really cool community-based events. I'd love to do watch parties for when pro games come out. Obviously watch our videos when they release with you guys, and just really be able to have that sort of community that we want to build. One thing I will say, just throw out quick, is that I would love to get help if anyone's interested or familiar with building some Discords. I already kind of got the bones up, but if anyone's interested in like moderating or even just slightly being involved in more of the management side of something like this, please hit me up. My Discord is... I will throw out the numbers right now. Godspeed to everyone. Be nice to me. It is BAHDYB. Godspeed, soldiers. Be nice to my requests. But if you are interested, hit me up. I'd love to have a conversation with you. And let's build some cool stuff together. Yeah, I think that really kind of goes over all of that on that end. So, with kind of that out of the way, let's talk about roll queue, which is... Oh, did you want to talk about something else?
Yeah, just real quick. One other thing that along the Discord lines, as well as other things, is we are getting close on this channel to not monetization on the channel, but YouTube partnership, I think is what they call it, which basically is going to allow you guys, if you're interested, to become members of the channel. Kind of similar to like Twitch subs. It's a paid feature, but right now we are brainstorming ideas on when we get access to that, how we can reward those of you that want to support our channel even more. So, yeah, just keep on the lookout for that. I'm sure Discord's going to play a big part in that. Some other things might be, merch giveaways or who knows, but just wanted to bring your awareness to that. So, but like Cody said, we can go ahead and jump into the next topic, which kind of ties in to ranked. This episode does cover a bit of ranked because I feel like we haven't touched on it too much, but we are very competitive and ranked play people. And the idea that we actually had was, should roll queue be enforced in ranked? As you guys know, with this podcast, we like to bring you an idea and see what your thoughts are. Last week, we talked about the defib rework and what we would do if we could rework it. Obviously, you heard in the Shawk interview some things that he thinks would be cool to add to the game, like a stim from Call of Duty, and also his thoughts on the defib rework as well.
Look, I'm just going to interrupt you real quick. That, dude, with all love to Shawk, hell no. Do not add a stim to finals, please.
No,
Please.
I'm for it. As a medium
Dude,
and person who occasionally plays heavy, a stim on medium or heavy would be great.
Dude, that'd be OP. It'd be crazy.
No, it wouldn't. I mean,
Dude,
light players have the fastest health regen, so it makes sense that like some people would think that that's OP, and it would be absolutely busted on light. So light should not get it.
I don't think you should put it on any class. I don't think it's good on any class. The only thing I could think of, and this is the only thing, is that you could add in maybe like an equipable, like the cloak, which could be like maybe give you some sort of like vampiric effect, or you could give like armor, maybe hidden armor plate in the finals, maybe, but it would be an equipable like cloak where you activate it and it lasts for X amount of time and it does X effect. But I think a stim, just a blatant, oh, I'm low, let me hit the stim, is crazy. That's crazy.
Well, it's not a stim to the sense of like, let me hit the stim and I'm full health or even regain health. It's
Just something to start health regen is insane.
faster.
That's
because
insane.
if you get shot, then the health regen cancels. So it's kind of like
I just think that's going to be too.
That.
I think that's going to be too good. I like more of like. I think it helps finals when you have something that you can proc, and it lasts for X amount of time. And if it happens to be useful in that time, then it's there, and then it has a cooldown. I think that's the best way to add in like those sort of effects. It shouldn't be something that you can choose to do whenever. I think that's unhealthy for the game.
I mean, it would be on a cooldown, and it could be on a long
but
cooldown.
The fact that you can just well, then if it's too long of a cooldown, it's going to be useless. I'm saying that if you were to add something like that, it would need to be. It would have to be something that would proc. You would have to like, okay, I'm going to hit the cloak. Like it's the same thing. You hit the cloak.
I think that's the idea. Is you would pop it just like you do another equipment or an ability. You get one charge of it. If you get shot right after you pop it, just like if you get shot,
I would honestly prefer maybe
that would turn it off, and it's on cooldown.
I don't know. Bad idea. Everyone sucks. Nope.
Well, on the topic of bad ideas, and the question we had for you guys actually was, do you think role queue maybe should be enforced in ranked or professional play? Last week, we obviously talked about how annoying the hit and run meta is when it comes to defib and why we would rework the defib. So, Cody, what are your thoughts on role queue? Meaning that they enforce one light, one medium, and one heavy per team in ranked and pro play.
I think there's a lot of benefits to having an unlocked roles. And I think it should probably stay that way for the health of the game. I mean, so many games like Overwatch tried it, and it ended up killing a lot of the creativity and fun and difference of the game, and people hate it. And it really doesn't help anything in the competitive long term. However, with that being said, I come to you with two slightly similar ideas that could be but it's just not as like extreme as like, hey, you can only have one of each role. One, you limit to two. Okay, that one's like a lazy version. 3 is you limit equipment. So everyone chooses equipment together in like a selection screen. And only certain people can grab certain equipment. And you could do it like a pick and ban system, I think would be very interesting. Because then you could add in a ban system, which could be kind of cool. Because you're like, hey, I'm going to ban the dome shield. Could be cool for health of the game. I think a ban system would be really cool it's just for future proofing with the extra like specializations and gadgets that they're going to add in the future. I think a pick ban would be really cool in an FPS. Like it's unheard of right now. And I think this is the game to add it. It'd be so sick.
Yeah. I mean, last time it happened was Black Ops 3. I think that's the last time I could ever think of an FPS having.
Yeah,
and Siege, of course. Siege
Siege is like, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's kind of similar, I guess, but it's more of like agents still. So to me, it's like kind of different. Like, I mean, yeah, Finals has classes, but to me, it's more like Valorant or like more of like a hero shooter where you're kind of banning like specific heroes. I feel like it's kind of unheard of, like, because even Call of Duty, yeah, it has a pick ban, but there's still not like gadgets and like especially like, I don't know. To me, it just seems really interesting. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like ban grenades, or I'm gonna ban glitch mines or whatever. I don't know. It just seems interesting. It seems kind of cool. I think pick ban systems are kind of just good in every game. I know it's a hot take, but I think it really just promotes creativity and like counterplay, which I think is always a good thing to introduce.
I agree. My only thing is like the finals, everything feels relatively balanced compared to other games, to where I'm not really sure what you would get rid of for it to, like in the ban sense, for it to matter. But I will say, like,
can I interrupt you just real quick, because to add some clarification or maybe an alternative idea, only do it in the finals. Only do it in the last one, which would be kind of cool also. That might be kind of hype. And you could do it like, so because you know that those teams have gotten first and second, whoever gets first gets like an extra ban or something, which would be kind of cool.
I feel like that would be a crazy advantage because I mean they've already scouted you from round 2 at this point. Like they're gonna ban basically what you're running. I don't think the weapon pool and stuff is there yet for that.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Exists.
But long term, it might be kind of cool.
Yeah, I feel like most classes have maybe 2 to 3 really viable weapons. With the exception of medium, I would say has 3, and then the pike arguably a 4th. I think the pike is so situational that I don't see why you would pick it over like the FAMAS in a ranked setting. But, there's a lot of people who think you should. So, more power to them. I'll put it on the list for 4.
Right.
So it's like, I don't really know what you would ban that makes that big of a deal in that sense. But I also think like in at least the Pro League matches that I've been watching so far, it seems like a lot of teams are running light, medium, heavy anyways, to where roll queue maybe isn't that necessary. I think like the pick ban system could be cool at like that level of play, but I think like ranked play, it's going to take up so much time, and the coordination when you are like a duo like us who have to play with a random, like trying to coordinate that already just sounds brutal. And I don't know if you would really get much out of it.
That's fair. I mean, you could argue that with a ton of other games, but it's definitely something. I mean, I don't wholeheartedly agree with it just to get that out the way. I just think it could be kind of cool. And I like sharing my zany ideas that could make or break the game. So, but I think that pretty much is everything. I mean, we kind of wanted to keep it a little short just because we had the interview. Next episode is going to be just us, and we will be having a guest. I'm just going to throw it out on episode 4. But episode 3 is just going to be us. We're going to talk about some more stuff. You'll get a little bit more time with us in episode 3, but we wanted to keep it short just because we already had the length of the interview. But we hope you guys enjoyed it. It was super fun having him on, and I'm so excited for the other guests we have lined up. I'm just really happy overall with everything that's been going on. I mean, the fact that we are almost at 2K subs, the videos have been doing great. We appreciate you. We appreciate everything. We appreciate the criticism. I mean, that's just the growing pains I kind of mentioned in a YouTube post that nobody saw. But yeah, I mean, it's just, it seems really cool. I'm just going to throw it back again. Hit me up about the Discord. I'm serious. I'm struggling, dude. Like, there's the amount of bots and just everything. I'm like, I'm 22, but I feel like I'm 40. I feel like I'm working like an iPhone and my hands are frail. And they don't reach around the screen. I need the big apps. I need them big. I need the big text. I need a little magnifier. I can't read. So, but yeah, that kind of wraps it up on my end. If there's anything you want to say.
Yeah, no, likewise. I just want to thank everybody again for your support on the channel so far. Obviously this week, like I said, was maybe not the best week from us. But it was, I think, a little bit of a wake-up call, and also realizing where our stance is within the community and the standard you guys hold us up to. So we're going to make sure we uphold that standard. Definitely keep, posted on our Discord, and also keep, paying attention to the YouTube posts. I'm imagining that's where we're going to post once the Discord is live, at least for now. And we'll mention it in videos as well. Once memberships go live, also, we will let you know what those benefits are. So, of course, no pressure becoming a member if you see that button. But, we'll let you know what the benefits are when they come out. So, yeah, that's it from me, though. Cody, anything else before we head out?
I covered it all. I just want to say I love all of you. Parasocial. I'm so parasocial.
I'm so platonically in love with all of you.
Oh, dude, nothing platonic over here. It's all romantic. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. I'm flirting in the comments. Hit me up.
He does flirt in the comments. You
do not hit me up on Discord with any. please stop. Take it out. Cut it out. I made a mistake. End it now. End it now.
Thank you guys again for watching. Thank you for supporting.
End it, Sam.
And we'll check you guys out next week. See you at the finals. Peace.